Hi, how you doing? My name is Jim Nieves. Today I'll be talking about the plastic pollution in the ocean and how harmful it is to our environment, and how we need to use reusable plastic water bottles, bags, and tote bags, and even containers if we want to stop the harm that we're doing to our environment. Imagine a world full of trash lying in the streets. The stench of garbage is so potent that the human race starts building towers in the air. This is the plot for WALL-E, and this is what it looks like. The humans have built skyscrapers full of trash, building all the way up top, because they didn't care about their environment. They simply wanted it to be convenient. The usage of plastic in our day-to-day society is harmful to the environment, but with reusable bags, water bottles, and even containers, we may be able to slow down the harmful impact that we're doing to our earth and the plastics that end up in the ocean. The usage of plastic that is not being recycled is harmful to the environment, and furthermore, unrecycled plastics end up in the ocean and therefore harming the marine life and hurting anything that's outside. This is a picture of the plastic. These photos are only about 2 to 3 years old, so I can only imagine what they look like right now. And 95% of the natural minerals we use in America are non-renewable. By recycling our biggest materials that we use on a day-to-day, such as paper, aluminum, and glass, we are able to save some of that 94% and use it for another one. This picture is it's really sad to see that this is what happened to the ocean, and 80% of the ocean is covered with a bunch of plastic on the surface level. Now I know how easy it is to use straws and plastic bags and everything, but if you don't recycle and you throw it out the window, most likely a lot of the times it's where it's going to end up, in the ocean or the water. And a lot of the times these poor birds and poor animals and turtles and everything, they're going to end up eating it or getting choked by it and dying. And I don't blame anyone for using plastic bags. I know it's convenient in plastic straws. We all do it. But we need to start being more subconscious about what we're doing to our environment, even if it is one straw at a time. Now, there is a way we can slow down the rules of the plastic products being used. Now, what I want to impose is the reusable bags, water bottles, and containers will slow down the impact of harmful plastics in our environment, and are most importantly cost efficient than those of the plastic materials. So some of the statistics of recycling: 17 millions of barrels are used to make 50 billion disposable plastic water bottles every year just in the United States alone, and only one out of those 5 water bottles are properly recycled. And in the ocean, there are currently 8 million tons of debris floating in the surface level. Just imagine how polluted that is, and how much the animals are infected on that. So, by converting to reusable water, By converting to reusable water bottles instead of plastic bottles, we can put an indent in the production of 50 billion disposable water bottles manufactured. As for the plastic bag, America uses 100 billion one-time uses that do not get recycled. And this is the reusable efficiency. The average American spends about $5 a week, or sorry, not a year, but they spend $5 a week, so they can save up to a total of $200 a year. And most importantly, there's no harmful chemicals inside of the metal water bottles or even reusable water bottles, as opposed to the plastic water bottles, where if they've been sitting out for the sun too long, they can actually leach off chemicals, which are very, very bad for you. And the average size of the water bottle is 16 ounces, and over 100 plastic bags are used, which is really bad, and we can use tote bags for that. And most importantly, that's obviously a big number, but we can break it down to the average American will bring home 1,500 shopping bags a year. That's insane. Imagine you using a tote bag over and over and over again. And more importantly, this is my 32-ounce reusable water bottle that I've had for about 2 to 3 years now, and it's double the size of a 16-ounce water bottle. So instead of using plastic bags, use tote bags. They will save the hassle of always needing a bag at the store. And also, just using metal water bottles or even reusable plastic water bottles will be an excellent way to reduce your carbon footprint. So that way we don't have to suffer altogether. So Just like I told you how I've used plastic water bottles, I actually stopped using straws for a majority of everything that I use. And I know a lot of people say that it's silly because one straw isn't going to impact the world, but I would like to think that there is. This one straw won't go into the ocean and it won't, hurt an animal. And that's actually why I reuse all of my water bottles. And I got my mother to agree with me to stop buying plastic water bottles. And we use like Britas, and we use these reusable water bottles. Then we also use metal straws a lot of the time for everything that we need because we just don't really use plastic as much. And we also use tote bags. Tote bags are really handy, and we can just, for any occasion, we just use them. And they're just really convenient, and they're really, really nice to use. So I understand that a lot of people could be objecting with the idea of buying metal water bottles or metal straws, i.e. because they're expensive or sometimes they're out of stock in the certain areas that we're living in. And I would also kind of argue with that is that idea, although it's obviously valid, I think it's a one-time buy because I bought this 32-ounce water bottle from Costco for $20 and I got two of these. And imagine if $5 would have got me 4 days buying one single water bottle that's only half this size. So this pays for itself in a week alone. Then imagine what it can do for you in a year, or maybe even 2-3 years. And imagine what it can do 10 years on the road. If we can even have a small indent on reducing the plastic usage, that would be amazing. Now, imagine a world with no plastic bags floating around in the highway or the streets, because we've all seen that happen. And imagine a world where there's not so many plastic water bottles every time you go to the park that aren't, to be honest, in the right bin, or they're not recycled, or they're on the floor. It's beneficial for all of us as the combined carbon footprint will go down. It's cleaner for the environment, and it will also, most importantly, help slow down the plastics that are ending up in the ocean. Oh. If you have any plastic water bottles, please recycle them as well as plastic bags. Or if you can, maybe donate the plastic bags. I know people use them to make reusable tote bags and other materials such as that. So go out to your local grocery store, buy a reusable water bottle, and please buy a reusable tote bag so that way you can kind of understand where we're going. So today we talked about how efficient these water bottles are, how much money they can save you, how they're literally double the size of a regular water bottle. And we also talked about how much plastic is in our ocean and how much it's hurting our environment. And at the end of the day, the usage that we're using in our plastic on day to day is harmful to the environment. But with a push for reusable water bottles, tote bags, and even containers, we can slow down the harmful impact of plastics to our environment. And if you ever want to know how big of a carbon footprint you do have, go to www.footprintcalculator.org. These are my sources.